Hey everybody, I'm sure there's so many of you watching right now because nobody knows I'm doing this. But hey, thought we would go through Valheim from beginning to end and see if we can create a new world, new character, and just kind of see how Valheim works. So I'm going to skip through this, but they've got some settings here we can pick. I don't have a whole lot of preferences, but I can live with that. Ooh, like the mustache. Fu Manchu. Yeah. Looks like a Leonard Skinner fan. Let's go with it. We'll make him a real redhead. Good enough. Haven't even thought about name, but let's just go with Conrad. And we're going to start with Conrad. I have played a little bit in the past. I got too many hours in this to even mention. And we'll go with Terra Conrad and just a random seed. The seed's what the world generator uses to create your world. You can find online seeds from different people who recommend them. Some seeds will generate a world where stuff is close and easy to get to, and others will be really spread out and hard to get to. So this is going to take a little bit to generate, and once that's done, we'll be dropped into, well, you'll see, we'll be carried into the world, and then we'll begin trying to survive in the world of Valheim. Today, we're just going to go through this character creation and try to get as far as creating our first shelter. That'd be roughly about a day. Each day in Valheim is around 30 minutes, 20 minutes of daylight, 10 minutes of night. During the night, we definitely want to be indoors and away from all the bad things that come and try to kill us. Some of the first things we're going to try to do is gather some rocks, some wood, make us a basic weapon, and then a hammer so that we could build things. A hammer is the tool. I am not going to read this to you. You can do that on your own. Basically, it starts the world history of the Valheim world. Valheim world has some really nice Viking-based mythology to it, and the lore makes the game kind of interesting and discovering those things about Vikings that you may not have known. Or if you're a Viking expert, it's probably all going to be fairly familiar. Here we go. This is a Valkyrie carrying us into the world of Valheim as a fallen soldier. We are asked to defeat the foes that Odin has banished, the Forsaken. So as soon as we touch down, I want to check the map and see what part of the world we discovered on our flight in. Everywhere we go is going to be mapped, and there's different areas. We're going to start out in the Meadows, which is the safest, calmest area in Valheim. But even with that said, it's pretty easy to die. Now here we go. So here's Hugin. Hugin. He'll tell us all about the Valheim world. Sometimes he talks too much and just gets in the way. Other times it's really useful information. Grabbed a rock so that we can create torch and other such stuff. And some wood. Hugin wants to talk to us again. Magic stones are stuff. So these basically tell us where to find the boss of the area. But we've got a boss that is just right next to the starting area. We've also got some nice water over here. Water's one of the first places we're going to want to go to. Got another island over here. And at some point in the future we'll be able to sail to that island. Want to pick up those sticks and rocks as we encounter them. They'll come in handy. Let's try to make ourselves a club. We're going to need 3 more pieces of wood. Just telling us that we have to craft items. Have to forgive my voice today. I'm fighting a cold for the last couple of weeks, and it's still... there's a boar. We'll want him later. I don't know if we want to try to take him right now. But boars are a great source of meat that you will use throughout the next 3 or 4 biomes in different cooking recipes. Okay, we should have enough for a club now. Let's craft that club. And now we've got a weapon where we can take that boar out. We could use our torch. It's a really good weapon also. Especially for greylings. And we'll see a greyling here soon, I'm sure. Greylings are afraid of fire. Yeah, where did that boar go? See our skills going up as we run around. And our stamina drains as we run. So a lot of people say run everywhere. Other people say don't run. There's our boar. Let's take this guy out. Got a little improvement on our sword skill. Picked up some leathers. Nope, just for meat. So greylings are one of the dangers within the meadow. Here's our leather scraps. We can use leather scraps to create some leather armor for us. Right now we've got that rag tunic, and we'll be able to make some trousers and a hood. And here's Hugin, and he wants to tell us about what we just did. Alright. So I think we're going to have to cook that meat before we eat it. Yeah, we can't eat. So, as far as food goes, down here we've got these 3 different boxes that'll show what we've eaten. As we eat, it will improve our health, vital to our survivability in Valheim. We'll be able to find... let's try the sneak. I don't think I'll be able to sneak up on this guy. Nope. I let my stamina run out, and having a stamina bar of only 50 points is not something I'm used to. Here we go. Got some food. Raspberries. Now, raspberries will provide us with 20 stamina and 7 health. So you also see this yellow fork. There's 3 different types of food. There's a yellow fork, a white fork, and a red fork. Yellow forks are stamina heavy, so they'll give you more stamina than health. White forks are mixed. They're even, gives you even health and even stamina. And the red fork is health based and will give you more health. And we'll see those kind of foods throughout. Here's another one of the monsters of the Meadows. It's called a neck. Necks will drop some meat occasionally that we can cook over a fire. And here's some flint. Flint's going to be vital to us upgrading from a typical like stone axe, which is one of the first weapons we'll use. Once we have, we'll be able to then do a flint axe. Flint axe is a nice improvement over the stone axe. So now we can make a stone axe, we can make a hammer, we can make a torch. I like to work on my axe skills from the beginning. So I'm going to go with the stone axe, and we'll just use that glove as a backup. I want to keep gathering up flint. We probably need 30 flint that we'll use in the early parts of the game for various crafting things. And you'll find flint anywhere in the meadows along water's edge. Each biome will have different materials that are useful. And there we go. Start working on those axe skills. Axes are great for gathering wood. We can chop down these trees. That takes a long time. Not going to do that right now. There's our wood cutting skill going up. To start out with, these little scrub trees provide a handful of wood and get us the basics of what we need. Bigger trees obviously are going to give us bigger wood. It doesn't matter how big the tree is. It's always going to be the same amount of wood if you chop down a big tree, if you chop down a scrub tree. Scrub trees give different amounts from big trees, but other than that, the size doesn't matter. Okay. Pralines are going to come up. They feel like they own the forest and they don't want us here. So we have to defend. Oh, let's try to... Nope. Our sneak skill's nowhere near high enough. You'll almost always find a couple of berries right here at the start, along with one piece of wood, one stone, usually right around here. And then there's typically one of these big monoliths will have a mushroom behind it. I'm not finding it. There we go. Mushrooms. Mushrooms are another source of food. A little different than berries. Mushrooms are white, giving us 15 health and 15 stamina. So now you see we have two different foods that we've consumed. This is going to last another 7 minutes. This is going to last us 15 minutes. And now our health is, oh god, twice as high as it was to begin with. Somewhere in that order. Okay. Here is the altar to Eikthyr, the boss of the first biome. Tells us to hunt his kin. So what we're going to need to do, we're going to hunt the deer, get deer trophies, and eventually we can sacrifice some deer trophies at the altar, summon Eikthyr, which will beat the boss. So here we see beech trees. These are birch trees. If you see the beech tree and we hit it, you can see we did 7.3 damage. Hit the birch, it is too hard. We aren't going to be able to chop down birch trees until we have moved on to the Black Forest, discovered copper, tin, made bronze, and created a bronze axe. Now, if you get lucky, you can knock down one of these big trees into one of these birch trees, and it'll knock it over, and then you can roll it, the logs, into each other until it finally breaks and get fine wood. Done that in the past. It is a little time consuming. I don't know if it's worth it. However, it does allow us to create a bow. Now, by the way, I'm just pointing at these items on the ground and hitting the letter E to pick them up. It's kind of self-explanatory. The game tells you that you need to hit E. Now, once we create a fire, we can cook. If we get lucky, only got a small piece of it. There's another boar. After we take care of this gremlin grayling. Graylings typically will drop resin, and resin is a nice crafting material. You probably use it for quite some time through multiple biomes. Each boar typically drops one boar meat and one leather scrap, unless we get a starred boar. Starred boars come in the 1-star and 2-star variety. You'll see a star next to the name boar. And then they drop, I think it's 2 and 4 of each, respectively. Alright, we've got 27 wood now. 7. We can make a hammer. The hammer will allow us to create a crafting table. And then the crafting table, it also unlocks these new recipes. Let's move that out here. Just try to find familiar places for all of our normal stuff. So we activate this by hitting the number 8. We're using our hammer tool, and right click, and we can see all the different things that we can do with the hammer. That's a cooking station, a workbench. We haven't unlocked any of the building materials or the heavy building that won't come for quite a while, or the furniture. These recipes get unlocked as you discover the items needed for them. So the hammer is the first thing to build to unlock your ability to craft lots of items. The Valheim, I guess, is known as a survival crafting game. And bones are really handy. They're hard to find. We'll pick a couple of these. The dandelions, we don't use them much. They do come in handy occasionally. Right now, I'm just kind of exploring. We're trying to expand what we can see here on the map. See what's available. We've been at this for a while. And going to be coming up on nighttime before too long, and we'll want to have some kind of shelter. Typically in the meadows you can find abandoned buildings, and if we can find one of these abandoned buildings, it will allow us to have shelter without taking a lot of time to build something. Oh, here's an interesting thing that you find. And these rock formations, they kind of form the outline of what would be a large boat. And then at one end of them, you'll typically find a buried treasure. don't have anything to dig with yet, and we won't be able to dig until we defeat the first boss. At which point we'll be able to build a pickaxe. If we don't find an abandoned building soon, we'll have to start building. Actually, we see the sun's starting to set. We should probably look at building our first shelter. And for that shelter, we're going to need a lot of wood. So fallen logs don't drop as much wood. You gotta keep an eye on that stamina, not let it get drained completely like I'm doing, because you're gonna get jumped, and that will lead to death. When it gets to be night, we're gonna see a lot of these graylings, a lot more of these graylings. Here we go, another boar. Gonna head to the top of this hill, see what I can see from there, and then we're gonna go for a shelter. I am sprinting by holding down shift. Putting it away your weapon with R or bringing it back with the R key, that impacts how much stamina you use when you sprint. There's another one of those rock formations that we talked about. But sprinting with your weapon out definitely uses more stamina. So, okay, here's an abandoned structure. Not quite big enough for much. Oh, listen to that sound. There's a beehive in here. If we go in there, the bees are going to attack us and poison us, which at this point could kill us. Not going to be able to use that structure for today. Let's just go ahead and start building a shelter. We'll be well into the night before it's done. Let's go to our hammer. Let's right click, go miscellaneous, build a campfire. Having a campfire will help deter enemies from attacking us. Won't stop them, but it's better than nothing. The next thing we want is a crafting station. I'm going to put that crafting station right here next to the campfire. It has to be on level ground, or close to level ground, and we unlock a bunch more recipes with that. Then he wants to tell us that we built a workbench and that we're getting new building pieces, which, yeah, that's true. Thanks, Hugin. Let's grab that boar while we're here. We'll be using boar for a long time. Didn't have my axe out. You notice in the hotbar up here, the highlighted item shows what we have out. Lots of recipes unlocked. Now, he's telling us that it gets cold at night and it gets dangerous. Yeah, that's certainly true. Okay, let's go back to our hammer. Let's start building ourselves a small structure. That uses 2 wood, that uses 2 wood, not much difference. Let's then, rather than having 2 posts, let's just drop a wall here. We'll put a floor on that wall. Trying to build a little platform that we can now add a bed to. And little information about the bed we built. Okay. We can't use that bed until it's enclosed. So let's go back, put some walls around it. See how much wood we're going to have. And how much more we're going to need. Hitting E to switch our binding points, or the points at which piece clicks into place. Now, put away the hammer for a minute. The bed's unclaimed. I'm going to hit E to claim it. It's going to tell me it needs a roof, so let's go ahead, put a roof over it. We'll just use these little 26-inch pieces, using the mouse wheel to rotate that into position. Now we've got a basic roof over it. The bed's too exposed. Typically we can get one more wall up here, and we need a little more wood for that wall. Wonder if a half wall does it. I bet it doesn't. Yep, still too exposed. So I'm going to use the right mouse wheel click to destroy that item. And let's go grab a little bit more wood. It's nighttime. This is really where we get in trouble. Running around at night could lead to your death. Let's see, we've got our stamina drained. Food's starting to run out. So as the timer runs down, it slowly decreases the benefit that it gives you. So if it starts out giving you 15 health, when you get down to 2 minutes, I must be hitting a rock. Oh, I'm using the club, which is not nearly as effective as the axe. That should be just enough to finish this up. The idea is we'd like to get in bed, sleep through the night, so that we don't get attacked. Switch to the hammer, pick a wall. I'm gonna turn that around just for fun. Still too exposed. Alright, let's try adding more roofing. Or close off that roof with this 26 degree piece. Typically that's enough. Spawn point set, so if we die we come right back here. The enemies are too close, but he's walking off. And now we're resting. So we'll sleep through the night. We may or may not have a dream, which will show up here on that black screen. And we now have our rested buff. Rested buff is crucial. It affects how fast your stamina regens, how fast your health regens, how fast your skill points gain. You want to always operate with your rested buff whenever possible. To get the rested buff, you need a fire and a roof over your head. So you'll see this sheltered icon. There it is, sheltered. There must be another grayling nearby or something. We're not getting sheltered. There, we've got sheltered and we're resting. We've got a comfort level 4. As we move on through the game, we'll be able to increase our comfort level, which will give us a longer timer on our rested buff. Alright, we made it through one day in the world of Valheim. We didn't die. We were able to discover a few things. There's a lot more to do, and we will continue that next time. Thank you for joining me. I'm Grandpa, and this is Grandpa Plays. A great day.